You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. How we doing? How we doing? Caitlin Clark's turnovers are the most important part of her game. I repeat that. Caitlin Clark's turnovers are the most important part of her game. You know, when you look at Caitlin's game and what she does it, if she can't make turnovers, then she can't have success. And when I say that to you, I'm going to take you inside the mind of a point guard. And when you look inside the mind of a point guard, what she does, how she does it, when she does it, it just comes down to Caitlin Clark, is really threading the needle. And when she's threading the needle out there on the court, you got to understand something about Caitlin. And why did the Indiana Fever bring her into Indiana? Because what she does, nobody else could do. But when she's making those turnovers, and everyone has to understand that it's threading the needle, and that's why it's an important part of her game. If you take the turnovers away from Caitlin Clark, then you're going to take Caitlin Clark's basketball game away from her. You're going to take the main reason that everybody comes out to see her, okay, and the way she plays the game and how she has her flow in the game. Now, this is a little bit different because she's always pressing the needle. And when you got a point guard, I'll take inside of what it means. You know, I talked a little bit about playing with the ball in your hands, and that just means every time you're on the court, you're going to make things happen, and a lot of times you're going to create what you do on the court. So when you play the ball in your hands, Kevin Durant, you can look at it, plays with the ball in his hands, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant. You get into it today. These players have to play with the ball in their hands, okay? Murray with Denver. I can go on and on. Steph Curry. Okay, but when you get to Klay Thompson, Klay doesn't play with the ball in his hand for the Golden State Warriors. Now, does Curry make turnovers in the beginning? Absolutely. Is Caitlin Clark going to make even more turnovers? Absolutely. And let me tell you why. When you get to the actual pinpoint of what she's doing on that court, how she's doing it, okay, and you look at it, here's the deal you got to look at, and folks got to understand when you get to point guard world, point guard knowledge. Okay, point guard camp. Let's take you there. Okay, you look at Caitlin Clark going across the board. She's averaging 5.5 turnovers a game. Okay, but you go up a little bit. You got to also understand she's averaging 8.2 assists. Okay, so when you balance that out and you look at the turnovers and what they're doing, you know, you even got a teammate right above her going to be at 1.4 turnovers, but the assists are 1.9. This is the key of why it's important that Caitlin Clark is going to have the most turnovers. It's impossible to ignore. You get to Ionescu, everybody says New York Liberty, great point guard. Let me break you down on that one. Turnovers, almost 2.93 a game. Assists, 5.9, okay? She's really at a 2-to-1, so you got to understand, but she's not distributing as much and as far as the assists. So here's the thing you got to know, that even if you climb up the ladder and you look at every single player, when you get to the turnovers and you get to the assists, nobody has more than Caitlin Clark. Now, the turnovers that she's making, we got to put that in perspective and saying, what is she trying to do? Okay, every turnover that Caitlin Clark makes on the court is trying to thread the needle, beat the player, find the player, and is pressing to get to what they want to do. Now, when you look at that and you start saying, okay, she's pressing it and she's trying to get where she wants to get, we got to also accept the fact that there's going to be a thin window that she's working with. And you can see you're feeding Boston, right? So that's a thin window you're working with. You got Boston sliding on down in there. There's no question she's got it where she wants it, and she's putting it in the spot that it needs to be. Now, the same time you're putting it in that spot, you're also pressing it too. So you got to understand that also the turnover can come and you can have it. As you can see right here, there's just falling down, trying to do a dribble drive penetration and falling down on the court. Now you press it to the next play. What do we got? She's giving it to Nia Smith, goes away, drops a dime. Nia doesn't hold it, gives it back up, sends it up to Wheeler. Wheeler drops the shot, okay? That's all pressure passing, and that's all pressing the tempo. When you're a point guard and you press the tempo, you're going to get the defense on their heels. Now, here's the difference between you can always know point guards and how they set up the play. Here's why the turnovers are so important. She has to not only make the pass, but she's got to set up the play and set up the defense. Okay. So that's a 3-tier. You're going to make the pass. You got to set up the play you're going to run, and you also got to set up the defense. Okay. So it's more than just getting the ball and making the pass when you break it down from point guard knowledge and the knowledge of a point guard and what they got to do in the WNBA. Now, you take Williams over there from Minnesota, she could do it like none other, okay? If I start ranking them down and looking at it and say, how can I set up the play? Okay, that's one of the best in the business. Now, you look at Chelsea Gray, who's not healthy, okay? She's good at it. She's one of the best in the business, but the injury has kind of threw off the tempo, okay, over there in Las Vegas, so she can't set it up as well as she used to. But Caitlin is setting up the play, folks. And when you set up the play, here's what you got to understand. The play is going to make its own development. Okay, here's a pass. We're going long, simple assist. Okay, you could easily throw that pass out of bounds. Here's a pass to Timmy. Okay, Timmy doesn't hold it, and there's a turnover. But you're pressing the tempo. You're pressing the play. Caitlin Clark's turnovers do not come from average turnovers, losing the ball. She's pressing tempo and pressing the play. Now, when you continue the play like that, here's what you got to understand. It makes a difference. When you get it in there and we're going to look for it. Here's Timmy again right down there. Miss it, got it picked. Okay, there's Nia Smith. Making these are all press plays. Okay, you're going to send it to the wing. You got lazy on that. But here you come right back. What are you going to do? Okay, you got it right there. You got Wheeler on a 2-dribble, gets the jump shot. Okay, here's another one we're going to press down. When you get it right there, if you look at that, what she tried to do, this is why the turnovers are so important for Caitlin Clark. Because you got Timmy going down to the box, okay? Timmy doesn't expect the pass, but if she gets by the defender, Caitlin's going to drop it right in the mailbox. She can have it. Now, if Timmy knows this play now for the rest of the season is coming, you're in the playoffs. Timmy's going to make this play. That's why the turnovers are the most important part of her game. You watch this play right here, and you see that ball right there. Timmy's a step behind, but Timmy's a pro, a consummate pro, and she's going to realize Caitlin's going to feed that. I got to go get that, okay? And that ball goes straight out of bounds, but it was one of those things. Now you come right back. What are we going to do? That's simple, got lazy. Okay, but guess what? We're coming off the roll. You got Boston sending it back right there. Got a pick and roll. They are going to have to pick and pop. I will tell you this. If you look at the Indiana Fever, they're going to have to rock and roll, and here's something they're going to have to do better. Okay, they're going to have to pick and pop, and they're going to have to knock down shots. But when I get to Caitlin, okay, and I get to what Caitlin does on the court, in the Indiana Fever, Lynn Dunn has drafted her and put her in this position. Now, when you draft a player like that, you got to also draft a coach and kind of retool a coach, because you got a coach out there that sometimes gets a little wacky in the thought process. I mean, if a pitcher could say 1,000 words, that's where sometimes Christy Sides gets. Now, here's the deal with Christy Sides, and we all got to understand this. Christy Sides got to protect the leads, okay? I don't care how up and down, nice person, okay, but they're this thought process, and whatever demons are going on inside, you get a lead and you get nervous and you can't actually, you're suffocating yourself when you get these leads. We got to figure this out, because this is something that you got a great person, okay, that can coach the game, but can you coach it to the level that it needs to be coached? And that's what's got to be decided, because you went and got Caitlin Clark. And let me tell you, folks, when you went and got her, you knew the deal and you knew what you were getting, okay? You're getting somebody who's going to press the pace, okay? That's what she does. She presses the pace. Not only is she going to press the pace, she's going to press the tempo, okay? Now, the tempo is going to come down to how do you set it up. Okay, because if you set it up right, you become efficient in your offense, which the Indiana Fever have done. That's called you're pressing the tempo. So you got paces when you're running up and down the floor as quick as you can. Tempo is when you're setting up the offense. Okay, so you brought in a point guard to do one thing, take control. You got the players that you drafted. Now everybody else has got to figure this out and figure out we got the best guard. Here's what you got to know. You're going to have ups and downs when you got a rookie, but Caitlin Clark's not a rookie, and she's not playing for rookie status, okay? She plays the game because she's got the heart to do it. She's going to dig down deep and be a pro, and she's going to beat some of the best that play the game. So when you get to the point guard spot and you look at this and you look at it collectively, what do I want out of my point guard? Why did I draft her? Why did I bring her to Indiana? And why is she taking over the WNBA? Because the point guard knowledge has been placed in Caitlin Clark. She plays the point guard, as I told you, as an NBA point guard plays the game. Okay, she keeps the pace, the tempo, and she never backs off the pressure. Am I saying Caitlin Clark could play in the NBA? No, absolutely not. Not a chance, okay? Am I saying that Caitlin Clark has the mentality of an NBA point guard as the NBA Rookie of the Year MVP Derrick Rose have? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And she could put you on your heels like no other player. And you got Boston, okay, that's playing it. You got Timmy that's in there, got to get going. You got Nia Smith, okay? And she's pressing them to be the best that she could be. And that's what she does. Now, this is getting interesting for the Indiana Fever because now you got to go down the stretch and you got to win games. And it falls back, I'll tell you, nobody else is going to win this thing or get it out of control than Christy Sides, because all she's got to do is stay out of her way. If she can stay out of her way and let things go and not get into the middle, and I don't like when Christy Sides likes to point out we need to protect the basketball. You got to understand something when you're playing at this level and you take the game to this level in the WNBA. Okay, Caitlin Clark walked right out of the NCAA Final Four. Okay, pressed it all the way down to a championship and came right to the WNBA and hasn't skipped a beat. Yeah, the legs are getting a little weak and getting a little weary, but she's still got a job to do, and she's still got a clock inside her head that's got to know how many assists she's made to each player, how many shots players are taking, where a player is most efficient that they're going to take those shots. And I told you what she did as far as point guard knowledge. She shortened the game, okay? When you shorten the game for players, here's what you do. You're going to get them down to a 2-dribble pound. Any player in the NBA can operate with a 2-dribble pound. They'll pound it twice, stretch to a shot, stretch to a pass, stretch to a layup. It doesn't matter, or stretch to a jump shot. 2 dribbles is what you should be able to get it done in. If you see Boston now, it's a couple dribbles, okay? You see Timmy, it's going to be a couple. Nia Smith, we got to work this back into the lineup because that's got to be a 2-dribble pound as well. But when you went and got the player that you knew could do that, that changed the whole mentality of what you're doing on that court. And that's what Caitlin Clark does. Okay, ups and downs. You're going to have that. There's no doubt about it. And that's part of the game because that's what you brought her here for. You brought her here so you know that she can go up and down. There's going to be rookies that do that. But this is not a rookie anymore. Okay, when you play enough games in this league and you've already gone to NCAA championships, I don't look at you as a rookie, okay? I don't look at Angel Reese as a rookie because Angel Reese is not a rookie, okay? Because rookies don't do what these players do. That's a fact of it, okay? You got a player that's getting ready to break through the assist record in the WNBA. You got a player over there, Angel Reese, getting ready to break through the WNBA rebounding record, okay? Those aren't rookies. Those are basketball players that are trying to take it to the height of the game. Do they match up the same? No, because Angel Reese doesn't play with the ball in her hands, okay? When you don't play with the ball in your hands, folks, that's kind of hard to be the quarterback of the team, okay? That's hard to be the leader of the team. That's hard to be the voice of the team because point guards, that's what they do, and they take that ownership and accountability, which Caitlin does every night, each time she takes the floor. Now, are you going to get there? Absolutely. If she's getting better, we don't know what her top is. We don't know where she's maximized, but everything she does is electrifying, and that's what the fans come to see. The WNBA fans who have traveled across the United States to see Caitlin Clark are not disappointed. There's nobody walked out of that arena and said, man, oh man, she can't play this game. Every night she takes the court, okay, she takes it with the vengeance, and she takes it with heart, and determination. And there's going to be off nights, and there's going to be nights she may have 15 turnovers. But here's the deal. It's the most important part of her game, okay? And when you put those turnovers back on Caitlin Clark, I'll tell you there's nothing better, because here's what you're able to see. You're able to see a player that can dominate the game. And when you can see somebody that can dominate the game the way Caitlin Clark dominates the game, that's what the fans pay to see, and that's what you're supposed to see when you come to it. So when she feeds Boston, driving, diving on the end of the play, that's what you want, okay? And then they're going to come into, got to do pick and pop. She takes it, she collapses, okay? That's still dribble penetration getting to the paint. If you notice there to Nia, that should have been a quick layup. Nia wasn't ready. Okay, guess what? She find Wheeler and keep it going. This is generational because you haven't seen a player do this in the WNBA, and that's why you call it a generational talent, okay? That's why you call it a 5-star, and that's why the most important thing Caitlin Clark can do is make those turnovers, because every time she does, she's pressing pace, pressing tempo, okay, and she's setting up the offense at the same time with the dribble entry kick, okay? A lot of guards can't do that. They'll try to pass it from half court. They'll stand out there with distance and not have a line of sight and go ahead and make the turnover. She draws the defender in. If the defender doesn't commit, she doesn't kick it. And guess what? She's going to get even more dangerous with that, because the floaters coming into play go right over the bigs. There's a lot that can be done. Chrissy Sides just have to relax, relax, relax. If you can get Chrissy Sides to relax, just be somebody of a philosophy for Caitlin Clark, you're going to win a WNBA championship. Here's the thing, when you get a rookie, you get everything's coming in and it's coming new, and you got a rookie coach. You definitely got a rookie coach. There's no doubt about that, because she's still worshiping the other coaches in the WNBA. And I'll tell you this, that Chrissy Side's going to have to figure out, and hopefully she'll figure out this soon, because, Coach K, at Duke, he figured it out, and he went over there at Duke. He was young, okay, and he was brand new, and nobody knew him, but he came in. And, Dean Smith, he ran every bit of that at North Carolina. So you got it up there. You got Duke, North Carolina, okay, and you got him at the top of the heap, and everybody respected, okay, Dean Smith, because Dean Smith was like Hall of Fame, was basketball, and he was playing it at the top of the game till he got his championship, and he got it at the end. But here's the deal. Coach K finally had to meet him at the court and say, blank, blank, Dean, because at some point you got to realize we are competitors, okay? You wouldn't have Noelle coming over to Chrissy Sides from the Seattle Storm and checking her at half court, okay? If they weren't looking at you as a pupil, okay? Chrissy Sides is going to have to grow out of being a pupil, okay? That's just something Chrissy Sides is going to have to do. She's going to have to face some offense competitors, because these coaches, I'm telling you right now, they're just looking at you as a little kid in the WNBA, and you got to let them know you're more than just a kid. I'm a coach, okay? And when you get to this level and you coach them, okay, they're no longer the bottom of the barrel, okay? And this is what you got to realize with Chrissy Sides. You're not the bottom of the barrel. So they're taking shots at you, and you got to fire back, because they are looking to knock you off, and if they can't beat you, they're going to get inside your head. And I know they're your buddy. I know they're your best friends. Every time they beat you, they loved you. They told you how hard you're working. But when you beat them, guess what? The tables turn. Caitlin Clark, most important part of her game is the turnovers. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We're powered up by Fanatics. Got nothing but great gear in there in the description for you, and you can click and choose what you want. But Caitlin Clark, most important part of her game is the turnovers. Hands down, bar none, without a doubt. Caitlin, keep making the turnovers and keep pushing the pace, pushing the tempo, and setting it up the way it's supposed to be and winning games. And you will be the WNBA MVP. We'll see you soon. All things are possible to those who believe.